Good.
Has the focus kind of been the same with tackling this week in practice?
I think it's always that way. I think that's a consistent thing throughout the country, really. I mean, that's the biggest thing that makes big plays on defense. If you tackle well, and don't come in and just try to blast somebody and you can wrap them up and stuff like that. I think that's a nationwide epidemic. You know what I mean? So I think everyone's going to work on it all the time.
Oklahoma's one of the best at not giving up sacks this season. What makes them so difficult?
You know what? That quarterback, I mean, he's a guy that, I mean, first of all, they have a very good offensive line. They use their length well. They do a good job setting. They give him time. A lot of times people rush 3-2 and he's standing back there forever. But, it's hard to sack athletic guys. There are some who are savvy, say Baylor. He did a good job, has a good feel. There's some guys who are quarterbacks and move around the pocket, and then it's a whole different game when you're trying to sack an athletic guy. Some people will get free runners to him, or they'll beat a guy, and then you got, okay, now I did the hard thing and got past the first guy. Okay, now I got to tackle an athlete in space, and that's not always an easy thing either.
You've explained to us the idea of kind of picking your poison on defense in the past. Is this a tougher team than even most to do that with?
Yeah, I mean they have some players that you can say, okay, that guy, okay, well then that guy, I mean it's going to be one of those things. There's no doubt, and we're going to have to gamble a little bit, and if you give up things and they guess right and you make a bad call, it could be a bad deal for all of us. But hopefully we guess right more than we guess wrong, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of the gamble of the game, man.
Yep. With Hurts, how much film have you looked at from his time at OU versus Alabama?
Almost. We've watched everything that he's had since he's been at OU. We watched a little bit of him, before at Alabama, but most of it's been since, just because it's later. I mean, he's a little bit of a different guy now. He's more polished. He feels more at ease in the pocket. Those things are different. Plus, sometimes, let's be real. In the SEC, you get more 4-down guys, and there's some beats who can rush, and right now in our conference everybody's playing 3 down, so it's a different deal. It's a different deal.
You look on paper and Oklahoma's number one in scoring offense, number one in total offense. Given your career, is that the best you've gone?
Oh yeah,
is that the best offense?
Yeah, I think I don't know that I've seen that many yards. I mean, there's been times when you would say, okay, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. At the time we played Utah State last year, they were averaging 52 points a game or something like that, and I thought that was completely ridiculous. This is 50, so I guess but there's some of those out there now. You play some teams, and you're like, how? Me personally, being a defensive guy, I'd like to call when it's 40. Hey, if someone hits 40, you know what? Sorry, folks, everyone, we're going home. That's how I think games should be. But they scored 70. You're looking at it going, oh my gosh, yeah, I think it's a scary deal. It's a fun challenge. It'll be fun to see, but I'm trying to think of other times. There's been some times you play some offenses that are freaky good like that, and sometimes it goes your way, and it's a great deal, it gives you great confidence, and it shocks the world, and sometimes it doesn't, and you're like, okay, hey, let's move on and get better at what we do, and move on to the next week, and let's see if we can continue to get on a roll after that.
What to you is the most impressive thing about Jalen Hurts when you watch him?
I would just say his poise right now. He stands back there sometimes like he's throwing 7-on-7 and there's nothing going around. And then, hey, someone will get through. Okay, I'll juke you a little bit, and then I have an ability to run. He runs like a running back. He's their leading rusher right now. It's a hard combination because, excuse me, when he does feel comfortable. He does throw the ball well. There's time. He could have been 17 for 17. The one that he throws and it's incomplete, it's a drop, and you're going, holy cow. Right now he's in a very good place. He's playing under control. He understands the offense. He's very patient, calm, and his demeanor's good. And those are things, looking back, I didn't really know him when he was. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't watch Alabama, but you just remember more of a runner, more of a guy that wasn't that poised in the pocket, and he's doing a great job right now.
Have you come across any coverage schemes that you think could work on CeeDee Lamb?
Sure. You put a guy on top of him and then another guy on top of that. Sure. It's going to be a deal where you got to play different coverages. You got to try to keep the ball away. Hopefully, you can talk them out of going over there sometimes. But it's one of the matchups. They're guys too. We're gonna win some. They're gonna win some. I think that he's a good player, and you know, Wallace was a good player, and we won some of those, and we lost some. You know, it's one of those things. I mean, it's you know, they're not all Supermen. You know what I mean? But they're good. You know, and let's say what it is. If you can hit Jalen Hurts, I'm sure he's just like every other guy. If you can cover a guy and get a guy off the line, or you put a guy over the top of him, you hope that they don't go to him. You know, and we're going to see how that works.
Offense did a great job of going, 95 yards for the winning touchdown last week, but then you guys turned around and stop them last week,
Yeah.
Like how proud are you of that, that effort to get a stop after doing that?
You hope that you can do that. You know, I mean, we had gotten off the field a bunch of times early in the game, and you know, really when you look at that game, I mean, we hurt ourselves with penalties. I mean, to me, that's I know that everyone brings up tackling. There's some bad play, but that's what you're going to look at every time, the big plays that look real bad. And sure, those hurt you. Really, in my mind is, okay, you have a bad drive. Okay, are we going to do that? Sometimes we're going to do that, sometimes we're going to give up, plays that aren't, beautiful plays. I mean, but the ones that are hard too are the ones that we gave up 2 15-yard penalties on one drive. We gave up another one on another one. We gave up another one on another one that they didn't score on. So we were getting off the field, and if you say, listen, there's 45 yards in penalty on their first 2 scoring drives before that. Those are the things that we can't do. You know what I mean? We're not in a point where we're dominant enough on defense to be able to go out and shut teams down to nothing, and then, hey, here you go, you can have 30 yards on a drive. That's not us yet. And you'd like to be building to that, but we're not there.
Right.
And if we can take that out of our game and say, okay, hey, if people are going to beat us, at least they have to drive. Sure, we don't want to give up the silly, dumb, long plays that you'd say, yeah, you had 3, 4, 5 chances to get them down. Yeah. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, they're kids, and we're working the best with them. And you want to take those out too. But I mean, now you're talking, okay, now you played a perfect game. I don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, we're going to have some of that, but the ones that we hurt ourselves on, the ones that we don't fit right, or don't tackle, or don't wrap up, or give them free yards. I mean, we can't do that against a team like this. We got to play cleaner than that. Just from that point, and I think if we do that, I mean, we'll be better. I don't know if we're going to shut these guys down, but I mean, we'll be better. And those are the ones that were disappointing. So just to come back, I mean, it was a deal that, heck, we'd stopped him, and then, we give up a couple penalties, we get scored on, and then they go score on some boneheaded stuff. But then we come back and stop again. I thought it was good because, our guys do. They have great effort. They want to win. They fight to win. They grind through the whole thing, and we want to keep promoting that. And that's where you'd say, man, those guys fight and they scrap. And even when we do dumb things, they're trying as hard as they can, which is beautiful. And we'll get better because of that.
What's impressed you most about Wyatt Hubert through the first half of the season?
Wyatt is I would say he's an effort guy that works as hard as he can to get as good as he can. And it's good to see him because he's not a guy that says, hey, listen, I'm playing pretty good right now. Well, then I'm going to take the day off. He's not that kind of guy. And he's really started to become more of a vocal guy too. He's just recently started to be able to say, listen, hey, this isn't good enough. When we do this isn't good enough. And we need more of that on our defense. We need more mature guys that aren't afraid to hold each other accountable. And that's when you really start make strides. He's starting to understand what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to do it. So now he can step out and worry about others. And he's at that point right now. I don't think we all are, but he's at that point, and I hope we can continue rolling that way.
Have you looked at any of them from previous years, or was it just this year with Hurts?
With Hurts?
Yeah, like have you looked at their previous film from previous years, or just
from Oklahoma?
OU, yeah.
Yes. I mean, we went through last year too. I mean, it's a little bit different style. They did a little bit more option, a little bit more speed stuff with them. Less power and things. When they had Murray, but the schemes are really the same. It's the same stuff. It's just a little bit different, a different flavor with the quarterback run side of things. No doubt.
Anything else?